and welcome to Sporting Jibberish. I'm Stu.
I'm Jack Luffman.
You're looking at a bit of pain there, Jackie boy. What's going on with yourself?
A bit of a sore back, mate.
It's like being carrying Paul Walker.
Carried him all over Baku, I was.
We did, wait, I tell you what, put some miles in though, didn't we?
We did. What was the second morning when we
went down to the marina?
Ended up in the old place, we put some miles in.
Oh yeah, that was a trip and a half. But yes, well, anyway, on with today's show, enough about that, but we'll cover that again in a second.
Yeah, definitely.
Right, on today's show we're going to be covering the Euro, surprisingly, a little bit of heartache for all those English fans. But is it heartache, or should we be reflecting slightly different on it? But we'll discuss that in a bit more detail. Looking a little bit at the cricket.
Yeah. Interesting week for the one-day boys.
Doesn't make it. Cricket just baffles me for the best of times. We'll be looking at the ruggers, which actually happened last night or early hours this morning. Yeah. And a bit of golf as well.
Bit of golf, yeah. Big weekend of golf back in Blighty.
Yeah, well, maybe at some point I might actually be there.
Like I say. Is it not? Oh, Blighty, the golf.
Blighty, definitely not golf. But as good as golf as I'm cricket, which is shocking. But right, let's go with our sporting week. So I'm gonna throw it out there. So I am going back to England. I'm going via Ireland tomorrow. So flying to Ireland, 11 days in Ireland, and then back to England. So put the feelers out already. I've got 2 potential games lined up.
Pre-season.
Yeah. I saw somebody put a message on. Nashi put a message on last night, and he was like, "Oh, I'm looking for any vets playing football. We've got a game on this day." And I was like, "Look, I'm not here for that day, but have you got anything going on after this day?" He's like, "I do actually have a game going on." I was like, "Awesome, stick me down." I was like, "Right, okay, no worries." And then a few of the lads chirped in. And then just dead bizarrely last night, I saw this other message come up: Bamber Bridge Vets versus North End Legends in a charity game. So the guy that put it on was Crowe, who used to play with the Arkwrights, who was actually Banbridge manager. So I just dropped him a message as well last night. I was like, "Crowe, I'm back. If you're shy." So I doubt I will, because I can imagine every Tom, Dick and Harry will be putting a name down for that. But if I'm getting back into that one, playing against North End, that'll be a decent one. And that'll be a decent crowd as well, because it's for, I think it's all going to go towards George's charity fund, motor neuron disease. So if that happens, that'll be in front of a good few thousand people. Yeah.
Very good. Does the wife know you've packed your boots? You got sneaking with her?
I just mentioned this one. I was like, just perfect. She's like, "You're an idiot." I was like, "Really?"
Because I know when last time we went back to UK, which was 2 years ago now, I was sneaking like, I've got spare kit back at home, but there's some things that you can't do without, like your box. Sneaking.
I don't wear that in football. So.
What are you doing? Just in case.
Well, she just said to me this morning, she was like, "You packing your boots?" I was like, "I'm not." She was like, "Well, how are you going to play these games?" "I'm going to buy some new ones."
World Cups,
Monday Hours while I'm back. But yeah, potentially, I'm definitely going to get one game. I always get a game with Wilburns as well. So that's 2 games I've got lined up. Hopefully, we can get in this brig game. That'll be an awesome one to play in. So yeah, sporting week. I'm dead excited.
He's excited.
Yeah.
We won't be a million degrees playing in, will it?
Oh no, and yeah, Ireland. Larkin actually sent me a picture of where we're staying because his uncle, dead bizarrely, happens to be our next door neighbour.
It's a small world.
It is, yeah, and it's just literally just like it's full of hills. So I've told Harry to pack his running trainers. He's not happy with that, but yeah, get some.
Rocky.
Yeah, we're gonna get some KMs in.
Yeah.
Next week.
Excellent.
But, right, what's going on with the Wanderers?
Well, we had a launch, because I think we said that last week's pod. We had a launch on Thursday evening last. Very good turnout actually. 20 plus people there. Range of potential players, sponsors, people who are just interested, which is absolutely fine. So that was really good. On the back of that, we had 5 people pay their membership. So yeah, very, very worthwhile. There's a couple of irons in the fire for sponsorship. One meant to be meeting, depending on where I am in the world. But on a Sunday, somebody from the club will meet him who potentially I reckon could be interested in the whole shebang, because we've got different level tiers of sponsorship.
Wow.
So that'll be really good. So yeah, everything.
Is a little oil tycoon a bit?
Well, you never know. Can you imagine? We'll be in the IPL next. You watch. In fact, I was interested. We had an IPL member show in school, didn't we?
Yes. Yeah. That was
just before
linked with Delhi
Capitals. Now,
that's right.
Yeah. So anyway, digress. But yeah. So things are looking really good actually. It's just now, obviously, all 4 of us. I think Clint's going to be based here all summer. Ash has already travelled. I think Dave's travelled. I'm not entirely sure. And obviously I'm not sure what's going on with us at the minute. So that's going to be pretty tricky, I think. when actually we need people here. But we'll overcome it. The magic of Zoom.
Well, I'm going to say now Zoom is well integrated into everybody's life. This is what I was saying the other day. There's never going to be a snow day or a rain day ever again.
No, that's cool.
Microsoft, you ruined it for everybody. I'm just going to throw that out there. I hate you. But yeah, it's the magic of Zoom, and that's probably what we're going to have to do because jetting off. I don't think we'll probably see each other for another 3 or 4 weeks.
Oh, don't.
We'll have to Zoom every day, Jack. Just don't tell the wife.
Yeah.
She wanted to do this, so we'll get away with it.
That's it. Yeah. Don't. But so things looking good. Looking really good actually. Probably, if I'm completely honest, a lot better than I thought it might do this time. So we've got I think they're thinking of DSL starting middle of September. So we've got 8-9 weeks to try and get a full team.
I'll be back ready for the next mate.
It's warming up.
Yeah.
Don't get yourself injured in those pre-season games in England then.
Yeah, I've been warned by messages about that as well. But yeah, exciting times. Looking forward to that. Just a little episode that we've just been on, wasn't it, Jack?
Oh.
As people who listen to podcasts will have realised, we flew off to Baku. We'll say it was an interesting start.
Do you want to tell the story or not?
I'll go through the story. So I think the start is just getting to the airport, isn't it? So we managed to get.
We got there. All right.
We got to the airport.
Paul was a bit late.
Paul was a little bit late. Got there, went to check out, and I went up first and had every single piece of paper document that you need to fly with now. I think I wasted a tree anyway. Anyway, just as she's about to check me in, checking the numbers of the seats, she's like, "You've got a seat, Paul's got a seat, Jack doesn't have a seat." I was like, "Well, that's the starting point." I was like, "Can you get Jack near us?" And she was like, "Oh, just your validation date for when you're due to
e-visa, yeah."
My visa. I was like, yeah, it goes on for ages. It's like 30, 40 day one.
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh no, it doesn't start till tomorrow." I was like, "What?" She's like, "Doesn't start till tomorrow." I was like, "Oh no." But you sat with me and went through it, and you've been my witness now. We clicked the 9th for it to start. And then I just turned to Tito, I was like, "Can you check your e-visas when it starts?" And Jack had done his the day before us. And Jack's like, "Yeah, mine says the 9th. Paul did his the same day as mine." He was like, "Mine says the 10th. So automatically in the system, it had given us a preset date in the system.
Even though you'd put the date
we put the correct date in. So that was straight off to fly it. And then the woman, I was like, "What can we do?" She was like, "You can do an emergency visa, or we'll put you on tomorrow's flight." And I'm like, "Oh no." I'm like, towels ready to go at this point. Dummy's about to go. So
can I just say to up there as well, at this point, you're thinking this trip's never going to happen. No. And also, me and Stuart are feeling like death because we've had the second Pfizer jab the day before.
Yeah.
And even though we'd planned it and I'd dosed myself up on Panadol, oh my goodness, I was not feeling good.
Yeah, it's a little bit rough to say the least. And then this woman appears out of nowhere and says, "Let me get in contact with somebody, blah, blah." So after about 40 minutes, she says, "Oh, don't worry, we've spoken to Passport and Immigration Control. You can fly." We're like, "Oh, what a godsend." So then we get
on that plane quick.
We head towards the business. That then delayed the fact we managed to get into the suite, didn't we?
Yeah.
So it was literally 10 minutes for a quick blackcurrant and water, a bite to eat, and then we jumped on the plane, and the plane was rammed. Literally couldn't move.
I did have a seat though.
Jack found a seat completely opposite end to us, so we didn't see him all fly. Anyway, after 3 hours we land.
Can we talk through the food on the flight?
Oh, like, chicken or beef? So I decided I'll go with the beef, and it was like a rubbish stewed beef that was cheap, that had been left out and stewed too long. And it took me 10 minutes to chew the first piece, and it smelled weird, so I didn't eat any more of that. How was your chicken?
I mean, I don't even know what it was.
Chicken disc.
It was a disc. It was a round disc of chicken with like bits in it. It was weird. It was like a fish cake.
Yeah.
Obviously has fish and then potato bits in and whatever. It was kind of like that, but without the breadcrumbs, and it only wasn't chicken. I don't know what it was, but it was mingo. But we ate it. We had to lie on the stomach.
Mashed up beak you had. So then we get to the airport, and the queue's huge. Get through immigration. Jack's ahead of us because he's on a different part of the plane to me and Paul. So I was like to Paul, going, "Oh, this queue looks like it's going down a bit quicker." So we jump line and get through, and we actually get there. I think I got there ahead of you.
Yeah.
Didn't I?
I chose the right one though, didn't I?
Yeah. And then I get to the thing, and she goes, "Your e-visa's at wrong day." I was like, "Yeah." I said, "Spoke to Azerbaijan Airways. They said they spoke to you guys." Next thing's okay. Next thing, guy comes over, grabs all the, whisks me off. I'm like, "Oh no." Paul's just in the next. He's been done the same to Buffy. Like, you need to come around here. You need to buy a new visa. I'm like, what? I was like, they spoke to you? No, nobody spoke to me. You need to buy a new visa. So then we ended up having to buy a new visa, which frustrates the life out of me because we could have bought a visa on arrival.
Yeah.
So anybody's flying to Azerbaijan and the airways say to you need a visa before you fly, you do not need one. For $1 extra, they'll do it all for you there.
Yeah.
You don't have to have the hassle.
That coming like the day before something.
Coming on the 7th, they said.
At this point though, I'm through.
He's gone.
I'm through. I've gone to the toilet. I'm like, and as I came back, because the immigration was at the top tier, wasn't it? And the airport, like arrival lounge, I could just see Stu being taken off into the distance.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to ring people on WhatsApp because WhatsApp actually works out there. No answer. I'm like, oh my giddy, what's going on here?
Yeah. So
and then they arrive.
Yeah, and then we got through, and then from that point onwards, it was pretty decent.
Cracking, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Good place, Baku.
Yeah, really good place. If you want to just go for a weekend with the boys or even with the girls, just fancy having a few beers and stuff like that, ideal location. And we stayed literally a stone's throw away from the town square.
Yeah.
And there must have been, I joke you not, easily 30 pubs.
Oh yeah,
within that area.
Yeah, definitely.
Within a 5-minute walk, it was just literally one bar after one bar after one bar. And it was just really good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Good end to the year where we just sat there and we drank.
We did do that,
Yeah.
And people are really friendly, aren't they?
Yeah, really friendly. Quite a few expats out there.
Yeah.
A lot of North East lads.
Yeah.
One who must be 70 something.
Oh, okay. Where are you from? I know you, Stu.
I know you. I've played football with you. You're like 70, man. I'm 40.
Yeah.
And I lived in Preston. All right. So I thought you
I
played.
think I know that. I think I know your dad. And then he went on to know your dad, your
Yeah.
uncle, the
Unbelievable.
bucket of Indaloo.
Yeah.
But it's a cracking weekend.
Really good. The only disappointing bit was the bars closed at 12.
Yeah.
Which left us a major issue on Cup
Yeah,
final.
and that links nicely to what we're going to talk about. But yeah, that was a panic the first night. They suddenly said that they're obviously still coming out of some sort of restrictions, that everywhere closed at midnight.
And when they say close at midnight, it's literally everybody
Well, no, we helped them, didn't we?
Oh yeah, that was the second night. But literally on the first night, I think I might have just gone straight to bed. But these guys were watching over the balcony over the town square. Literally, somebody just went blink with a light and just went boom, 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 boom,
It all
boom,
goes
boom,
off, yeah.
and they just all went.
And of course, they're 3 hours ahead of UK time, so same time zone as us. So the Euro final kicked off at 11 o'clock their time. So first half was absolutely fine. We nailed that.
Yeah.
Second half was becoming a bit of a panic, wasn't it?
Yeah. So the internet wasn't working. Internet did work. Then internet box ran out. But then we managed to use Paul's data on his area. But yeah, we managed to stock up. Jack bought it was a version of Grey Goose. I think it was called the Silver Pigeon.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I think I'm still sweating that out.
I think that's why I've had a bad stomach. But yeah, we managed to watch it. But yeah, we'll move on to that. The Euro final, heartbreak in the end. In a strange game, but I think England did exactly what they said they would do. First 10 minutes, go and attack. Did that. Got the goal early on, and then sat back and defended. I know there's calls for when Italy equalised. They think that the potential handball leading up to it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think people are just grasping at straws there. And a bit of a scramble, and then Bonucci just smashes it home from 2 yards. And then the game, we kind of, I don't know, we didn't really create a great deal after that point. It was just a kind of a to and fro game, and then obviously the loss of penalties.
You're dead right. I don't want to be too. I don't think the time is to be critical of any of the players or the manager. I just wonder, and I think me and you would both agree that at 1-0 up, we have them.
Yeah.
And just be a bit braver. And I think from this point that Southgate, I think Southgate's done a great job. I'm not saying I agree completely with all of his decisions and selections, and I wouldn't necessarily agree with everything he did on the final. But I think he's done a great job from where we're at come 2016. I just wish he's a bit braver. That's my only thing, because to think in the final, and I read a thing that Kane, Sterling, I can't remember who the third person was. Oh man, he was didn't have one shot on goal between them, and not even had a chance created for him. It says a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think Southgate has done a great job, but it leaves me with what ifs.
Yeah.
What if he'd been a bit braver? What if he'd been a little bit more attacking? Who's to say? Like I sit here now with my football head on, going, I wish he'd played this person. I wish he'd give this person a bit more time. But we might not have got to the final.
No, exactly.
And I think it goes back to what you're saying. If we'd won every game 1-0, 1-0, 1-0 and done a tournament like Italy and Germany had done and won the final, then everybody would be cheering and saying Southgate.
Yeah.
But that's what just nags away a little bit. There's just that little something there that says, maybe if you'd played this person or give this person a bit more game time, and maybe you hadn't played 2 defensive midfielders and played 1 holding and then 1 box-to-box midfielder and 1 attacking midfielder.
Yeah.
Maybe we might have got in and around them a little bit more. But we saw when Saka did get around the back of Chiellini, he practically decapitated him by pulling his shirt off. But and this is another thing that annoys me. Why would you want to win by cheating like that? Listen, that's the dark art of football. You have to make them foul from time to time. You have to take somebody out when they're counter-attacking to stop them scoring. And that's part and parcel of football. So to say, oh no, I wouldn't have wanted to win it that way. Damn right you would have done. You would have bitten, scratched, poked people's eyes out to try and win that European Championship. And if there is the dark arts where you're risking a yellow card here and there, so be it.
The thing is with that's exactly what he knew, experience. He didn't get anything other than a yellow card there. That's the point. That's more green carpet. That's more sin bin one, the cynical fail where at that point, would he do it? And he said he's only, would he do that if there was a risk of him being sin bin for 10 minutes? He probably still would. Because he was away. But you're dead right. I just think that for me, I haven't got necessarily a massive issue with the three at the back, the 2 wing backs, because first half an hour it was working. I just think, and I know why I did it, because he trusts him and he's been one of his go-to players. If you're playing 3 up top with Sterling, Mason Mount is not the third man in that 3. Not when you've got all the other options on the bench. But
I think in that aspect, when you're playing that type of formation, Jack Grealish should have been ideal because he holds on to that ball, and Mason, I don't think is brave enough to get onto it. Mason works well in and around other good footballers, so I can see why he works around well with Canante and Jorginho around him, because he's got little pockets to pass the ball in. You need for England's squad is that Declan Rice won't move from in front of that back 3 or back 4 it was playing. Phillips is just there to break it up and give it simple. He doesn't have that ability then to pop it into somebody else, and Kane wants to move into areas, Saka wants to go into that area, Sterling wants to go into here, and you need somebody that's going to get hold of the ball and keep hold of it for that 3 or 4 seconds, get the head up and then pass it. Mount wants to just pop it and then move into another area, and against an experienced Italian team you can't draw centre halves out if you pass it first.
And not being as a wide forward he was playing, just not. But all in all, I think we have to be. I'm not going down on we're proud. You've got to be pleased that we got to the final. Of course you have. I think Southgate underlined. He said, "Of course we wanted to win, and we're absolutely gutted that we're not. But would you have taken getting to the final beforehand? Probably.
Yeah.
But once you're there, and the way we've played, or the way we've looked fairly comfortable, and I would say even in that game, particularly first half an hour and extra time, you're dead right. For me, I'm just left with what if he'd done that?
Didn't agree with the penalty takers. Obviously, that it's retrospective, isn't it? It's always reflective when you're looking back. If all 3 had scored, then it'd be like you're a hero. But I've no issue with Saka taking one. At the age of that. I went into a semi-pro team at the age of 18, and the penalty came up, and I was like, I'll take that. And I was a full-back.
Yeah.
And then it was a little bit like, you're a defender. I'm like, I've got confidence in my ability. Let me take it. So I've no issue with Saka taking that penalty at all. I just didn't. I felt that if you're going to give Sancho and Rashford a penalty, get them into the speed of the game. Yeah. Get them on the ball a little bit. Give them 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes just to get into the flow of the game. Just felt like, and I read another tweet. All that's happened this week is social media, keyboard warriors coming on and right. The guy said you don't need to want to take a penalty. It's not about that aspect. It's about feeling you're part of the game. If you're coming into a game, not even, and it's happened when you come on from a sideline, you're a little bit nervous about coming into a game because you've got to get up to the speed of the game. Yeah. These guys didn't get a chance to get up to the speed of the game, get the second wind, or even get that many touches of the ball, and then expected to take a penalty. Felt a little bit like adding more pressure where it wasn't needed.
I was about to say that I agree with you. I haven't got a problem with Saka taking one. I haven't got a problem with the fact that, let's be honest, all 3 of those weren't great penalties. I haven't got a problem with that because
some good saves.
That happens. And the keeper's got to go, I still got to save it. That happens. Rashford has obviously come out and disappointed himself with what he did, but he's been off it. You would argue now, news coming out that he might miss the first 2. Should have been in the squad. Should have even been there. But let's part that. The thing I have an issue with, if you want to go down that way, is is the fact that those two lads knew that the only reason they were put on the pitch to take the penalties. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Now, I know people will say, oh, it's the same as the American. I saw this tweet, same as the American football kicker. But that's what he's paid to do. He's used to doing that. No footballer in the world is used to coming on for whatever it was and then knowing full well that basically their job is to take the penalty.
Yeah.
However, obviously, they were all happy with that because that's obviously what had been discussed. They're not going to come out and say they're not either, let's be honest. But a bit when you got people on the park who I think were probably as able, then just that begs a question. But let's be the positive. About the two Harris penalties.
Oh my goodness, Maguire broke the camera, didn't he? He come out and said he's actually broke the camera. He's absolutely smashed that. And a friend of mine from back home was like, should the three have done exactly what the two Harris did and absolutely, smash it and then put power in it rather than placing it? I'm like, well, I don't know. I try and place mine with a little bit of whip on it. But I think for the main part of it, I think all three probably just wanted to hit the target.
Yeah.
And the keepers made a save. And on the back of that, how big is Donnarumma? I didn't realise how big he was until it came to penalties. And I was like, oh my goodness, he's like 6'6", is he?
It's just signed for PSG as well.
Yeah. So this Jorginho never smashed a penalty, and he usually sends the keeper the wrong way.
I think me and you were bouncing around about palm at that point.
But I don't know. Penalty takers are just individual. I just would have liked to have given them two boys a bit more of game time ready for the penalty shootout. Because at one point Rashford's playing right back, isn't he?
He came
and he's like doesn't even get a chance to like.
I don't think Sancho touched the ball, did he?
Yeah, they don't even get a chance to get the bearings because it's literally just gone. Right, it's 2 minutes left, lads. On you go, and then.
Although I do remember on the night Paul Walker screaming at the telly and us saying that I think he tried to get on a little bit earlier, but for whatever reason it didn't happen. But anyway, positives though, you've got to be positive going forward to the World Cup. Yes, we've got to qualify, but if we don't qualify that group, they all need sacking.
Yeah, you've got to look there. It's a youngish squad that will only get better with experience. So I don't know. You've only got a year to wait, haven't you? So
there's only who's going to miss out? Maybe Kyle Walker.
I don't know.
And Trippier. There's only them two and Hendo, 3 out who are older than 30, I think.
Yeah, and Hendo's fit as a fiddle as well. I'd say Kyle Walker's pretty fit, and Kyle Walker was lightning.
It was
I think when Walker loses his pace, that's when he'll retire. But he didn't look like he was losing his pace, especially against Denmark.
I think that overall positive tournament, disappointed, gutted, but and I think I'm not going to touch on it because I don't want to give people much airtime. I think the way that the whole England squad, captain, manager, all the players responded to all that vile stuff following the final has been absolutely first class, and that for me is as important as winning something because they make a difference.
Best and worst of English fans, that's what it is.
Yeah.
But I don't
calling out the politicians is good as well.
I don't think it's just English fans. I think it's just sporting
it's
people.
Society
it's
just,
just a nasty, nasty thing. But while we're on the subject of Euros, I asked Jack to pick his starting 11.
You did.
So
team of the tournament.
Team of the tournament. So I've gone with 4-3-3.
Yeah, I went with 4-3-3.
Okay, so we'll go through it one by one. Hard choice, the goalkeeper.
Very hard choice.
I thought there was 3 potentials. I thought Schmeichel would have been a shout, Pickford and Donnarumma.
Yeah, the 3 I thought of.
Yeah, so I went with Donnarumma.
I went with Pickford.
Okay, I went for Donnarumma just for the fact that they've won a couple of penalty shootouts and he's been the mainstay.
I went with him just because of Pickford's 5 clean sheets. I think that's absolutely outstanding.
I don't think there's much to choose between either of them. Left back?
I went for Mailer from Denmark.
Left back?
Yeah.
I went for short left back.
Oh, yeah.
I went for
Is it Mailer?
I went for Mailer at right back.
Oh, okay.
I shifted him about a bit.
Yeah.
Because I know he played left,
he played left wing back, really.
Left wing back, but I just thought he was too good not to have in the squad.
Yeah, I thought he was class. I'd be interested to see if any Premier League clubs are coming from. To be fair.
Maybe we just go with the back 4. So I've gone Shaw, Mailer, Maguire, and Chiellini.
I've got Walker, Chiellini, Maguire, and Mailer.
Okay, right. Fair enough. I don't think there's really much of an argument there.
The midfield 3, do you find it difficult to choose midfield 3?
Yeah.
Because there wasn't any stand...
well, that was it. It was trying to find people that played well and justifying them being in the squad.
I went for sort of 3 different ones.
I'll go on then.
So I went for Jorginho.
Yeah.
Locatelli.
Yeah.
And Forsberg from Sweden.
See,
just something a bit different.
We had 2 out of 3 there. I went Jorgs, Locatelli. Locatelli, I reckon, will be on the radar for Premier teams. I went with Zuber from Swiss.
But
He had the most assists in the tournament.
Yeah, I looked at Højbjerg, most assists, second most assists. I know they were disappointing, but I thought Pogba was class for France.
Yeah, but if you can't get past...
Exactly, which is why I didn't go for him. In the front three...
Do you want me to go first?
Go on.
Sterling.
Yeah.
Schlick.
Right, yeah.
And Ronaldo.
Yeah.
I bet he's got Kane in.
No, I haven't.
Oh, you haven't got Kane in?
Haven't.
Loves this Harry.
Obviously I do. I went for Ronaldo as number 9 because he ended up top goal scorer.
Was he not joint with Schlick?
He was, yeah. I went with Sterling, although I thought he dipped off a little bit.
Yeah.
While Kane went that way, I think he went that way, but they both played so much football, haven't they? But I think he deserved a spot in it. I went for Chiesa.
Well, from Italy?
Yeah.
See, he didn't start the tournament very well, but I thought Schlick being equal goal scorer...
It's difficult, isn't it?
Justified him being in there, so I'm right.
And I thought Chiesa was class. That was the best bit about the final when he went off injured because he was running England ragged.
I'd say, it was a great tournament, really good tournament when you look back on it.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any...
But let's say positives, World Cup, we're going to be there, aren't we? We'll be there. We'll be there in 18 months.
That's the plan of action. And competition finally finished, and the winner was Matt Shepherd.
Oh, Shepherd was in Iceland, cool. I've talked to him yesterday.
Bizarrely, he actually, before he even announced the winner, he's like, I've won. He was like, I can't believe I've won. So I was like, congratulations. So, yeah, Shep, we'll get in contact with Raddy Red. And
what is the price?
Well, they just said estate Raddy Red, but they're not specifying how long it is. So I'll get in contact with them and I'll get the price sent off. So when you're back, you can go and visit Raddy Red.
He was on a tour of the Reykjavik yesterday.
Oh, nice. But I tell you what, if they do some of that pool thing for some of the Premiership games next year, that'd be awesome.
Yeah,
if anybody's not been, basically they can only be described as a huge screen at the end of the pool. So if it gets too hot, if you want to celebrate a little bit, like Charlie Cook does, and just jump straight in fully clothed, then you're open to doing that.
Exactly.
But really good. Really
I think they kicked off the line, so if I don't travel,
well, you could be there.
I'll be there. He'll be in there, won't he?
Could well be.
He'll probably bring a ball.
No doubt, no doubt. Right, should we quickly go through the cricket and the Bruggers?
Yeah. So cricket was bizarre. We mentioned it last week that England had to choose a completely new squad because there'd been COVID cases in the squad, players and management, and then obviously the close contacts. So and bearing in mind they're running the big squads anyway, so that 18 was sent home. They could choose another 18, which effectively was their C team.
Yeah.
Stokes came back in from an injury a little bit earlier to captain the side, and clearly he'd be in the 18. And then you had David Milan and Vince, who were always on the periphery, and Saqib Mahmood. Other than that, the rest of them, there were 5 debutants last week in the first ODI.
Wow.
Anyway, to cut a really long story short, they've won 3-0. Now, I think there's 2 things. I think it shows probably a little bit where Pakistan cricket's at.
Yeah, I was going to say, strength and depth in both areas, isn't there?
Yeah.
Strength and depth for England and how weak Pakistan are.
But I think also, and I'm going to use what Stokes said, I think, and I know I've said this before on the podcast, and those who listen to me, probably not, during any discussion about cricket, is that Owen Morgan has changed the direction, the attitude, the way that English white ball sides approach the game. And that's clearly drip-fed into county cricket because you effectively pulled 15 guys who've not had any international experience, 1 or 2 have been in and around squads, and they've just played exactly the same way as what the A team would have done.
So it's a bit like England's structure at football with the DNA programme they launched, 10, 12 years ago, that we're now starting to see the benefits of that. And when are they going to do that for the Red Ball team?
Well, I said before for a long time that actually once Cooker retired, I wouldn't have given Joe Root the captaincy. I would have given it to Morgan because he was good enough to bat 6 or 7 in the Test match side. It's a different ballgame, but I think he's got the respect and the leadership qualities to however he would have wanted the Test match team to play, they would have played it. Whereas at the minute, I don't know how we want to play Test cricket. Okay. But a great achievement by those boys. Unfortunately, the weird thing is that there's 1 or 2 of them probably would never. Only 11 players, so they played the same team all 3 games, which I thought was the right thing to do. So there's a few boys who didn't get a chance, but the experience they've got being in and around the squad. And there might be some players who'll never play again, like the wicketkeeper John Simpson from Middlesex, who's highly regarded, but he's probably
just not that highly rated.
4th or 5th in the pecking order in one-day cricket. So he's played 3 ODIs, probably never play again, never be in the squad again. But A, does it matter? B, you can't ever take it away from him. C, he did a great job in the service.
Yeah.
So, cracking and well done. And look forward to seeing. Now, though, the T20 starts and the A-team are back.
Wow. When does this 100 thing start?
Next week. That's a whole.
And it's just 100 balls.
100 balls.
Every ball is worth a point.
No, it's just 5. So they're in 5, but you can bowl 10 from one end, 10 bowl from one end.
And how many can a bowl a ball?
So we could bowl 10, or we could bowl 5.
All right, so we're only allowed to bowl in sets of 5 or 10.
I think so. Yeah.
Ah, okay.
I'll be honest with you. I don't know a lot about it.
To be fair, it's caught my bit of interest. I watched an advert for it the other day, and I was like, actually looks.
I think that's what the idea is. I mean, the criticism from me and other cricket, I don't know, lovers or whatever, is the fact, why the hell are we reinventing a wheel when we started T20 cricket, and just because we're slow off the ball to go franchises because of the whole county setup, why are we reinventing the wheel?
This is cities, isn't it, that are playing it?
Yeah, so they've gone franchise around cities. So what you just said there, as a non-cricket fan, if you like, it's kind of grabbed my interest a little bit. I think that's the idea of it. And there's lots more going on about speed of play, because that's an argument with T20 at the minute, is that it should be played in 3 hours, yet games are lasting in 5 because of drink breaks and times and all that. So there's going to be a lot more. So it is going to be quick. Okay. What stuffed them up a little bit again this year is in the last few days is that big overseas marquee signs are pulling out. Injury, COVID, can't get visas. I don't know. Let's see how it goes.
Okay, I think, off that then, I'll give it 2 seasons worth then. It's worth giving it a second season to see how well it is.
You might be able to get a game in by the time you get back.
Fingers crossed. Well, maybe. It depends how bored I am.
You'll like it. Some great silver pigeon there.
Yeah. What I was going to say to you is that, you talked about England inventing T20 and then being slow off the mark. Are we just not ahead of the game now, rather than sitting and resting on laurels, we've actually come out and introduced a new game? Because I can imagine that when Test matches started and then they talked about doing the 50-day over, people were like, oh, why are we doing this? And then we went from the 50 to the 20s, and everyone's like, oh, why are we doing this? And then it turns out to be a good thing, and now we go to the 100s. Maybe you're just stuck in your ways. It's
a fair point. My only question would be to that is why reinvent the wheel when the IPL's millions and millions. If England had done that on the back of their 2020 success when we started back in 2003, we wouldn't need to reinvent the wheel. But
maybe that's the reason it is invented. Right, okay, we'll move on to South Africa A versus British Lions, which was played, I think it was yesterday.
Last night. Wednesday evening.
South Africa A 17, British Lions 13. Okay, so having demolished every team, which is an absolute waste of time over the last one, because we caught the end of one of them, didn't we?
Yeah, we did, yeah.
70-something 30, along with the 56 fours, 56 sixes, just showed that how uncompetitive them games were. South Africa A team was quite a strong team.
Oh, it's very strong.
But then British Lions team is no mean feat anyway, and then they've gone and lost that. So that really sets it up tastily, and just a little bit of a harsh reality to British Lions that this is not a walkover tour, and how insignificant them first 3 games were, and what a waste of time.
Yeah, a little bit. The first Test match next weekend, isn't it?
I think so, yeah. I think it's
next weekend. It's not this weekend, is it? It's interesting that our resident rugby expert, not Ian Larkin, but Cookie himself, messaged me. He was obviously watching last night. I was in bed, but I think this probably says a lot, because I would say normally, and I do like rugby, but I'm not a massive fan. Normally, in the Lions tour, by this point, fans and coaches would have their first 15. A bit like it was in the Euros. We kind of knew, didn't we, where he was going. Well, bear in mind, Charles played a good level as a massive rugby union fan. He reckons there's only 7 definite starters in his book. So not even half the team. So he thinks Faletau, Itoje, Daly, Watson, Reece Samet, Van der Merwe, Curry, Sinclair are the only ones who are definite starters. That probably says a lot. I mean, obviously he's not.
And why would you not give your starting 15 in this biggest game?
Yeah, because if they've got 10 days to recover, then they should be alright. But yeah, so he's, I don't know. Gatland's got some decisions to make. But as they always say, we know playing at the level we do, that next step when it's a bigger game, people do rise to the challenge.
Yeah, definitely. Right, before we go on about transfers, you want to quickly, golf started?
Yeah, the Open, London 4.5, Royal St George's. Always a big weekend, isn't it? I've been looking at a few. The weather looks a bit dodgy around. Links course. I'm just going to back McIlroy. Just going to keep backing it
Until he eventually wins.
Yeah, he's not won for a major for 7 years.
You must have lost shed loads of money then.
Yeah.
We're not talking about that.
Yeah, no. I don't know. Wide open. You can't look past John Rahm again. He's in some great form after his last majors. But they reckon that sometimes some of the older, more experienced golfers come into their own at links golf because it's just so changeable and so different to anywhere else. But yeah, looking forward to catching a bit of that on the old box over the next 3 or 4 days.
Awesome. I don't know what setup we're going to get when we get to Anna because we're in a cottage, so I'm not sure exactly what coverage. I've just been downloading shed loads on Netflix.
You're going to have a little hamster in a wheel that's going to power your internet.
Well, we've got Monopoly. That's all I know.
That, or you're going to have to get Harry running around the building to do it.
Well, we're going to be doing that as well. But yeah, right. Okay. So Premier League transfer gossip. So there's a few interesting things out there, and again, it's only gossip, so we don't know how factual this is going to be. And the first one that really struck my mind was, why would this happen? So England Atletico fullback Kieran Trippier is desperate for return to Premier League and is waiting on a move to Manchester United. So I'm sat there going, Trips, currently is probably a little bit better than Aaron Wan-Bissaka. But Aaron Wan-Bissaka's got age, speed, agility on his side. Why would you then go and plummet for somebody like Trips?
I don't know. Other than it's this kind of dream move, I guess. And if he's, from Trippier's point of view, if he's unhappy in... He said he's not unhappy, but if he's unhappy in Atletico, he had 2 seasons out there now.
Yeah.
Spain, well, once his family back, I don't know. But, I mean, you wouldn't say it'd be a bad sign for Man United.
No,
but it's not exactly...
I wouldn't say it was an area they need to strengthen, because Wan-Bissaka plays regularly, very rarely gets injured, so... It's a strange potential waste of money for me.
Yeah, because you wouldn't necessarily bring Trippier in as a backup, surely.
No. Another one here is Koulibaly, who was rated as one of the best centre-backs in the world, 2 seasons ago? Liverpool looking at him, Real Madrid looking at him. Everton have made an opening bid for him.
Yeah, I saw that.
Everton, I'm just a little bit like... He is 30 years old now, which I'm not saying he's past it because Van Dijk's 30 as well, coming on 30.
I think we can put, you just said about Kyle Walker, I think we put too much, particularly nowadays, way too much on an age in any sport, because they're that fit. It's whether they lose, like I said, Kyle Walker, if he loses pace, he's not playing at top level anymore.
I think that's why I've done alright in vets football. I never had pace to lose. So it was never going to be an issue.
Yeah.
And I think the fast players that relying on pace to get them in and out of trouble, and when it's gone, they've got nothing else.
And that's in cricket. They actually say that as a batsman, you're not in your prime until you're 28, 36, because it's not as physically as demanding as bowling or winning marathons and things like that. Which is why Anderson's as the English bowler is a phenomenal achievement.
Yeah.
Anyway, we digress.
Yeah. All right. Well, Liverpool are supposedly preparing a bid, but again, I don't know why they would go down this route for Nicolo Barriella, who kind of played right forward, right midfield, but again, an area which I'd find strange to try and bolster, especially if he's more an attacking lad, because you've got Salah, Mane, Shaq, Diogo Jota in that potential area, further forward. If he were to look more into the right hand side, I could imagine Liverpool going to a back three this year, and having that back three of Verge, Konate, and Gomez, and then having Robertson and Trent either side, and then having them push up a little bit higher, and then your back three can then one could slide out to become that cover for the full back.
And they're not very replaced. When Oldham have those that goal score that.
No, but I think at the moment he didn't really score that many. He scored more for Holland than he did for Liverpool. So you've got Curtis Jones there that is more than capable. Shaq's had a good Euros, so I
think he's a bit underrated.
Yeah, if Liverpool wanted, I'd go for a goal scoring number 9.
Did you see? Talking goal scoring number, see who Spurs have been linked with this week?
No.
Because so the Kane thing, I don't know. I personally think the Kane deal's already done. I don't know, but anyway, the rumour is that they want Nuno wants Danny Ings from Southampton to play alongside. So he wants to go to a two up top to play alongside Kane with width from Son.
Wow.
Now that would be very interesting if it happens.
Yeah.
But I think it's more they're after Ings because they know Kane's going to go at some point. But imagine that would be interesting, wouldn't it?
Yeah. 2 other ones that stick out to me. Chelsea trying to throw Tammy Abraham into the deal with Borussia
to
try and get Haaland across the road. Leicester City, which is always a worry for Leicester City fans, they've just offered Tielemans a new contract. while Liverpool are sniffing around.
Yeah.
Which is always a potential sign that
Something's amiss.
Something is going to happen. But yeah, they're probably the biggest standout ones. There is one link with Spurs, closing in the sign of Bologna and Japan defender Tomiyasu, who's 22 years old, with a fee expected of plus 15 million.
And I did see that they'd had a bid accepted. I can't think of his lad's name now. I can't remember. They've had a bid accepted for a centre half, and Sanchez was going to go the other way as part of the deal. But the defender turned it down because he wanted to move to a bigger club.
Wowzers. The other big news in football is Messi. Messi signed a new contract with Barcelona. Wage reduction of 50%.
Yeah.
Not that he probably needs the money. But
nice if you can take it.
A strange one, because I can imagine that City or PSG
would
have given him a bit more money.
Unless it just says he's on that much, he doesn't need the rest of it. And it's obviously because then now they can register those other guys to keep it to the financial fair play. So his mate Aguero, who else was it?
Depay's gone.
Oh, that's right.
Garcia.
Yeah, and they reckon that Griezmann could come to Chelsea on loan, which obviously free up some wages.
Wowzers.
I read that one the other day. So yeah, but Messi at Barca, always going to happen. He was never moving, was he?
No, one-man club. Right, so this is the end of the show. This is where we part ways, Jackie.
Is that what you've got there? Is that for you to wipe your tears because you're not going to see it for a few weeks? There we go.
Yeah.
But yeah, keep posting our socials to how we're going to do it, if we can do it.
Yeah, we'll do it. Well, I did think maybe we should just let Jack go solo.
Oh, God.
Anything
we could invite Danger Cook onto it for one.
Oh my goodness, you'd have to have a swimming pool nearby. But yeah,
we'll see what happens. See where we're in Ireland, but have a good trip. You never know. Our paths might cross if we decide to do anything.
Yeah, we are going to try and get down to Lincoln at some point and see Jez. So
watch out, Shrek.
Right.
There we go. But yeah, have a good trip, safe trip, Stu. Because at the end of the day,
what do we know?